to another tutorial. For this project we are using 3-ply acrylic yarn and a 3.5mm hook. First off, we are going to start with a slip knot, and this is how I make the slip knot. If you want an in-detail tutorial, I will link it down in the video description or somewhere in the screen. After you make the slip knot, you are going to slide your hook through that, and we are going to make our first chain. For that, you are going to send your yarn over the hook. This is also called yarn over, and pull it through that loop. Now that is our first chain. You are going to make another one, yarn over and pull through. For round 1, you are going to make 6 single crochets into a magic ring, and here I am showing you how I make the magic ring, which is using the chain 2 method. So as shown here, you are going to start with 2 chains and insert your hook into the very first chain. Pull up a loop like this. You got 2 loops on your hook. You're gonna yarn over and pull through both loops. That is 1 single crochet. You are going to repeat the same process and make 5 more single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember that we are working all those stitches into that very first chain. This V shape that you see here, that is your first stitch. This is called as the front loop and this is called as the back loop. So when you're working around this project, we are going to go through both these loops. So you can count. This is my second stitch, this is my third, this is my 4th, 5th, okay, 5th and 4th, 5th and 6th. Okay, I'm having a hard time showing it to you. So you can see there are 6 stitches around. Next, for row 2, we are going to do an increase. That means into the first stitch, you are going to insert the hook and you are going to place 2 single crochets. That is 1, and into that same first stitch, I'm going to place another single crochet. Now, into the second stitch from row 1, you are going to place 2 single crochets. Likewise, into the next, again 2 single crochets. So placing 2 single crochets in one stitch is called as an increase. So whenever I tell you to do an increase, that means you have to make 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So you're gonna repeat making this until you reach the end of this row. By the end of this row, you should be having a total stitch count of 12, because for row 1 we had 6 and for row 2 we made 2 single crochets into each of those 6. So 6 times 2, it's going to be 12. Once you complete round 2, this is how your work should look like. You can count around to make sure that you have 12. And next we will start row 3. For this, into the first stitch, you are just going to place a single crochet. Into the next stitch, you are going to do an increase, which is you are going to place 2 single crochets. Into the next, again a single crochet. Into the next, an increase. So you're going to repeat this pattern, single crochet increase, until you reach the end of this row. And of course, don't forget to mark your first stitch. I'm doing the final increase of row 3. By the end of this row, your project should look something like this. You should have a total stitch count of 18. So for row 4, into the first stitch you are going to place a single crochet. Into the second stitch you are going to place 2 single crochets. That means you are going to do an increase. Into the third stitch you are going to place a single crochet. Mark your first stitch. Into the next you are going to place a single crochet, and into the next do an increase. Into the next a single crochet. So the pattern, as you can see, is single crochet, increase, single crochet. You are going to repeat this until you reach the end of this row. By the end of this row, row number 4, the total stitch count will be 24. You can count around to make sure that you have 24 stitches. I'll meet you guys at the end of this row. I am at the end of row 4. By the end of row 4, this is how your work should look like. For the next 4 rows, you are going to place single crochets into each of those stitches. By the end of each row, you should be having 24 stitches as the total stitch count. The total stitch count will remain the same since we are not doing any changes to the pattern. We are just placing single crochets around. I will meet you guys at the end of row 8. I am doing the last single crochets of row 8. As you can see, this is row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At the end of 8 rows, this is how your project should look like. Now for row number 9, we are going to place 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and an increase into the next. Again, 1, 2, 3 single crochet, and into the next an increase. As you can see, the pattern is 3 single crochet increase. You are going to repeat this until you reach the end of the row, and I will meet you guys by the end of row number 9. Oh, and don't forget the total stitch count would be 30. I'm at the end of the row. Next we will start row number 10. You're going to make single crochets into the first 2 stitches. Into the third, you're going to do an increase. Into the next two, you're going to place single crochet each. So the pattern is 2 single crochet increase, 2 single crochet. Repeat the pattern until you reach the end of the row. By the end of this row, you will be having 36 as the total stitch count, and I'll meet you guys by the end of row number 10. I'm at the end of row number 10 doing the last repeat. So as you can see, 2 single crochet, increase, and 2 single crochet. By the end of this row, you should be having 36 stitches. You can count to make sure. And this is how your work should look like right now. For our next two rows, row number 11 and row number 12, we are just going to place single crochets around. Start placing single crochets around for 2 more rows, and by the end of each row the total stitch count would be 36. I'll meet you guys by the end of row number 12. Okay, I'm at the end of row number 12, and this is how your work should look like, counting from the top. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, 10, 11 and 12. So this is how your work should look like, and we are going to start to do our decreases now. For the next row, place 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Into the next, again a single crochet. Into the next, a single crochet. Into the next, again a single crochet, and go through the front loops of the next 2 stitches. So we did 4 single crochets, and into the front loops of the 5th and 6th stitches, you're going to send your hook like this, pull up a loop, you got 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Combining 2 stitches into one like that is called a decrease. So again, you're gonna make 4 single crochets, and into the next 2, go through the front loops, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So the pattern is 4 single crochet decrease. You're going to do this, you're going to repeat this until you reach the end of the row, and I'll meet you guys by the end of this row. By the end, the total stitch count would be 30. Okay, I just finished that row, and this is how your chickie's body should look like. For the next row, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next. Don't forget to mark your first stitch. Into the third and fourth, go through the front loops and do a decrease. Into the next, a single crochet. So the pattern is 2 single crochet, decrease, single crochet. You're going to follow this until you reach the end of the row, and by the end of this row you should be having 24 stitches. I'll meet you guys by the end of this row. For the next row, we are going to do 2 single crochets and then decrease. Repeat the pattern 2 single crochet, decrease until you reach the end of the row, and you will be left with a total stitch count of 18 stitches. I am at the end of that row, and now is a good time to start stuffing in your amigurumi. Here I am using Polyfil, so you can use cotton or scrap yarn. Make sure to shape the body as you put in Polyfil. After you're satisfied, we'll continue with our next row. For this row, start with placing a single crochet into the first stitch and into the next 2. You're gonna go through the front loops and do a decrease. The pattern is single crochet decrease. You're gonna repeat the pattern until you reach the end of this row. By the end of the row, the total stitch count would be 12. I just finished that row, and if you feel like you need more polyfill, you can fill it in. For the next round, we are going to do decreases around. Single crochet 2 together until you reach the end of the row. You'll be doing 6 decreases in total, and by the end of the row, you'll have 6 stitches. I'm doing the last decrease. Now I'm gonna stop my work, and you are going to leave a long tail. Make sure to leave a long tail before you cut the yarn. After that, you're gonna pull it out like this and finish off your work. Now, with the help of a darning needle, we are going to close this opening. What we are going to do here is go through the front loops of that final 6 stitches that we have. Go through all 6 of the front loops like this. Once you are done going through all the 6 front loops, you are going to pull from that yarn end like this, and the opening will get closed. After that, we are going to make the hair of the little chick. So this is how I do it. I'm just going to form 2 loops on top of his head. You can watch the video and follow the same steps if you are confused on how to make the hair of the chick. After you are done making the hair, you're gonna hide the yarn through the project like this and cut off any excess yarn. Okay guys, with that the body of the chick is complete. And now we have to make the 2 little wings. So it is very easy. You are going to start with a slip knot and you are going to chain 4. After you finish making 4 chains, you are going to yarn over, and into the second chain from the hook, you are going to insert the hook. Pull up a loop yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops on your hook. That is known as a half double crochet. Into the next, you're going to place a single crochet, and into the next, now we are at the very first chain, you're going to make a slip stitch. So insert the hook, pull up a loop and pull it all the way through. Leave enough tail to sew it onto the body and cut the yarn. Finish off by pulling out the yarn like this. You have to make 2 wings. Next, I'm going to place the eyes. So I'm gonna count about 9 to 10 rows from the top and about 5 to 6 stitches between the 2 eyes. Here I'm using the P6000 glue to stick the eyes onto the body. For the eyes I'm using black half beads. Now for the beak, I'm gonna use orange color 3-ply acrylic yarn, and I'm gonna make the beak in the middle between the 2 eyes about 2 stitches wide. So this is how I make the beak. I'm gonna double the yarn and make the beak like this. Of course, if you like, you can use felt to give the face details. After finish making the beak, I'm gonna place enough knots and secure the yarn, hide the excess yarn, and yeah, finish. Using the same orange color yarn, I'm gonna sew in the feet. So for that, I'm gonna count about 4 to 5 rows up, right below the eye, and send the needle like this. And I'm gonna make 3 straight lines, starting from the same point. Sorry if I'm confusing, just watch the video and you'll understand. I take about 2 rows height for each foot. Is it like not? Oh my god, it's claw. The claw. No, it's not a claw. Okay, the chick feet. It's feet, right? Oh my god, okay. As you can see, you're going to make the feet like this. You can take the eye as the vertical alignment and count about 4 to 5 rows from the bottom and make the other feet. Finally, we are left with sewing the wings to the cheek. Along the horizontal alignment of the eye, you're going to count about 3 stitches back from each side and attach the wing there. place any necessary knots, hide the yarn. You may be wondering where is the little bum of the chick? We didn't make that, and now it's time for us to make that. Using a piece of yellow yarn strand, you are going to count about 5 rows up from the bottom. Get the needle out through that point and count about 4 rows right above and insert the needle. Make sure to get the needle right out from where you first inserted it, and then you are going to pull. Be careful though, pull very hard, and it will kind of like form a butt cheek shape. After the shape is formed, you are going to place few knots. Make sure that it is tight and won't undo. And you're gonna hide the yarn, cut off the excess yarn, and finish off your work. That is the final touch, and we are done with our little chick. You have yourself a little chickie with a little bum bum. Congratulations! I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Thank you for watching as always and for the love and support that you give to me. These are all the little chicks that I made so far. It's my little chickie army. And here's the dino, the previous tutorial. You can watch the tutorial somewhere. I will link it somewhere in the video. You can always support me on my coffee shop. If you do make a little chickie, don't forget to tag me on Instagram at PiKi PiKi Crafts. I'd love to see your little chickie. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.